Just coming on to give you some live value at nearly 9:30 at night. But yeah, a little bit later, I got caught up in some life admin today, some distractions in terms of life admin. I was like, oh my God, I haven't done my live. So I want to talk about why you need failure, which seems really appropriate given I failed to go live when I was going to go live at lunchtime. So it seems really appropriate to be discussing this is why you need failure. So let me just tag the topic for people to join. Remember, hashtag replay if you are joining on the replay. There we go, all pinned. But yeah, Monday, right? I find that being a business owner, Monday doesn't really mean an awful lot, like every day. And I imagine it's the same for people who are retired. Every day you're kind of like getting on, doing stuff, achieving stuff. It's not necessarily that Monday is a thing as such. Hi, Sharon. And it's that whole thing about so if I look at my failure to go live at lunchtime today because life admin caught up, and it's always a good learning. So it's like, why didn't it go live? What was it that got caught up? What do I need to do to stop that happening again? And you can learn from it. And I think we see failure as adults as a negative thing, like it's that thing that you're not good at your job or you shouldn't be able to do that thing. And it's often why people get caught up in gyms and not want to do exercise at gyms or even outdoor in a park because they're like, oh, I don't want someone to see me and laugh at what I'm doing. I don't want someone to see me doing this thing and like thinking, oh my God, what's she up to? Rather than going in with that playful kind of childlike attitude of going, we're just going to go and have fun. And it's the same with your nutrition as well. So if you talk about nutrition and people are like stick to the diet, and then if you have 1 or 2 days where you come off due to family challenges, life getting busy, and then you beat yourself up about it and go, oh my God, why can't I keep to that? So rather than learning from the failure, whether it be movement, whether it be at work, whether it be with your nutrition or going live at a certain time, we beat ourselves up about it. And rather than go, oh, actually, what could we learn from that thing? We tend to go, oh my God, we're not good enough. Why can't we even just do that thing? Why can't we just stick to it? So it's that whole thing about the review and planning of why you failed at that thing, whatever that was, and also looking at everything that you have managed to do. So whilst I've failed to go live at 1 o'clock, I've managed to do it now, and there's a whole load of other stuff that I've done throughout the day. So it's that whole thing about not being led by that feeling like you're a failure and letting that control everything you do. So if we talk about example in terms of training, like we can set ourselves goals, and I think it's really important that we do have goals because if we don't, we're just kind of cruising through life, plateauing, nothing's really happening. We get on the hamster wheel, it's rinse, repeat the same thing, and we're not really aiming to achieve anything. And I'm not just talking about fitness and nutrition, I'm talking about your health, your wealth, your lifestyle, your relationships. And if you aren't striving to do stuff, and I've become guilty of doing this myself, you just sit in a plateau and nothing really happens, nothing really moves forward, and you can get bored and fed up and a bit like, is this what life's about? And that's not you feeling it life. That's you learning that actually you want more from life. You want a promotion at work. You want to change your environment, move house, whatever it is. So every time you find yourself getting stuck or feeling like you're failing at something, review what that is. So, like I said, if it's a movement and you plan to do 3 gym classes this week and you only done one, what was it that stopped you doing the other two? Maybe the classes you weren't enjoying. Maybe you need to go for a run instead. Whatever it is, review why you failed because that's going to help you to learn and move forward. And the same with your nutrition. So if you didn't follow your meal plan for that day, why not? What happened? Was it just because you were in a bit of a funk and you couldn't be bothered? Was it because you didn't feel too well, so you didn't follow it because you actually were seeking the comfort food? Was it because actually you got caught up and you were out and about and it's really hard to get anything decent to eat at the time that you're eating it, so you ended up with a meal deal? So it's always that thing of going, review why did I fail and what did it look like? And then what can you do differently around it? Because unless we're going to learn from failure, then failure isn't a bad thing. And it's also that perspective around failure. So, like, say if you go to do a movement, like often when I train with clients, we might go and do a movement, or we might try a different food type, and they didn't enjoy the food, or they couldn't do that movement because their core wasn't strong enough yet. It's not a failure, it's a play session. It's going, no, actually, we're not at that stage yet. We've not earned the right to be able to do that move. So rather than deem it as, oh, we're rubbish, we should be able to do this thing, we learn to what do we need to improve to do that. All right, so if our core wasn't strong enough to do that move, we need to spend a bit more time on that. What does that look like? So rather than always thinking as adults, we need to be on it, always doing things, consistency, discipline on it and doing it. Otherwise, what's wrong with us? There must be something wrong with us. Then it's that whole review and going, actually, perspective. What have I have learned from this experience? Always about what have I learned from this experience. And so you can apply that to all aspects of your life, not just nutrition, but to movement, to your health, your wealth, your relationships too. So you think whole of life rather than just applying it to movement and nutrition. But of course, start off in those areas because sometimes it can be easier to start that off in terms of fitness and going, what was my goal? What was I wanting to do? And sometimes, you'll see me sometimes on reels and things and on stories doing some funky moves. And it's that thing like, I don't always get them right straight away, but I have fun with it of learning, oh, that felt a bit different. That felt challenging. How can I do it? And you might be saying, oh, but you've got the confidence to do that. Yes, but I've got the confidence to do it and have a laugh at myself when things go wrong because I've been in that place. Like, there's no point. I don't want to stop myself doing something because I'm fearful of failure. Failure is part of learning. If you didn't fail, you would never have learned to walk. You'd never learn to read and write. But again, it's that mindset of you beating yourself up every time you feel you failed at something. So instead of thinking, oh, I failed at this, I failed at that, I must be rubbish, what is wrong with me? Think about what do I need to learn from this experience? What is it my goal is? What do I need to adapt and change? And that's not just letting yourself off the hook as well, because I know people be like, oh, I was on this diet and it was rubbish, it didn't work for me. And we can put the blame on the diet, whereas actually the failure was around the fact that you didn't actually follow the meal plan, you didn't follow the diet, you didn't follow the healthy eating. When it came to the weekends, you were like, I'll see you later. I'm going to go and have whatever I want. I'm having a Chinese. I'm having a chippy. Had too much to drink on the Saturday night, so I'm going to have this. I'm going to have that. So it's that thing about being honest about what is failure and what is excuses. There's two different things. And if you're like, yeah, but Julie, I always fail because I make excuses. Well, you need to unravel these excuses. Why are you making them? Why is it you're stopping yourself? And if it's because it comes down to you not feeling like you're good enough to have that thing, and it does happen with people with weight loss. I see it all the time. People sabotage. They get to a certain weight and it's their blocker. And then they stop continuing to make the progress because there's something inside them. It's like, oh, I'm not sure about this change. I'm a bit uncomfortable here. People are starting to pay attention and notice that I'm losing weight and they're taking interest, and that makes me uncomfortable. So because everyone else is around me is used to me being a certain way or living a certain way, then actually I'm going to just go back to this because it's easier. So failure learning is never easy, and that's why a lot of people don't do it. I'm sure you've got friends, you've got family who you go around, it's the same thing. Day in, day out, week in, week out, same thing, same moans, same complaints. It might be about their weight, but they never do nothing about it. It might be about the fact that they feel like they're losing muscle definition, muscle loss, not being able to do as much things as they used to, but they still do nothing about it. It might be that they're complaining about something in the street, but they'll never take the action to go and resolve it. It might be that they're moaning that they're bored, they've got nothing to do, but again, they don't take action to do it. So whatever it is in your life, fail forward, do what it is that you want to do and learn from it. And I will catch you later. Any questions on failing forward? My DMs are always open, so drop me a note. But yeah, fail forward, learn, review, plan, and revisit it. That's why you need to fail forward. Unless you're failing forward, then you're never going to learn and never going to progress. And that's all aspects of your life. And I'll leave you with that thought for this evening while I go and learn from my failures for today and take that into review and plan ahead so I'm better tomorrow. Sleep well.